Well, we are here at IAGS and I'm very, very thrilled. I have Heidi Pass here with me. Thanks for chatting, Heidi.
Thanks for the invite, Jess.
It's always so much fun when I see you. You brighten my day every time. We always have the most
Blessed.
wholesome chats and I just love it.
We do. We have a good
Yes.
laugh as
We
well.
do.
Yeah.
We do.
Great.
So you've got some posters. I think you're on a panel. What else is going on this week
Yes.
for you?
A lot, actually. It's, I think the most fun part is just catching up with everybody.
Yeah.
And having the very good fortune that, being a Canadian geo in the beginning of my career, also a hotspot for geochemistry, and then having ended up after a few stops in Western Australia, also a hotspot for
Yes.
geochemistry. It does feel a little bit like a high school reunion when
Yes.
these conferences are on.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking to some former Canadian colleagues, so it's great that they've all come down.
Yes.
To Australia, and we get to catch up, and I get to retune my ear to the Canadian accent.
Yes.
And I think that's really a big one. But poster, chair, panel, and just catching up and hearing some great talks as well. Hearing
Yes.
What people have been up to, what the advances are or not underway.
What made you get into geochem to begin with?
Right. I think this is a theme question. Hey.
I've been asking everyone.
Yeah.
And every story's different. I love it.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm actually really glad that you asked me that, because I do want to give a shout out to a fellow that's here, a very important, foundational fellow who is a mentor officially in my career, that was pivotal in that. So the first step for me was about getting into geology.
Yeah.
So I happened to do well in chemistry in high school. And I got this idea in my head that I could be a chemical oceanographer, because I spent a lot of time as a kid on the ocean.
Yeah.
Grew up on boats and whatnot. And but then I realized, no, that probably wasn't going to be for me for a variety of reasons. But I was doing my chemistry degree. And I realized that as a professional chemist, you have one of the shortest life expectancies for white-collar workers.
Really?
And it also was super competitive.
Wow.
And not very much fun.
Right.
And at the same time that I was doing my chemistry degree, my undergrad, I took Earth and Ocean Science as an elective. And that was it. I was done.
Loved it.
This is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I love this. I already, was outdoors a lot, loved being outside, and then now loved having the skills, a bit of skill to be dangerous, of understanding the landscape.
Yeah.
And it was all over from there. So that was, there were certain key teachers. We always hear about teachers are really important. So Mr. Harrison, my chemistry teacher, very much helping me through into that university transition. And then Karen Drysdale, who was first and second year prac teacher at University of Victoria in Canada. And she was essential. Yeah, she saw my enthusiasm, and she was able to, really stoke the fires, I guess, with that. So I take my hat off to those people. And then it just went from an elective, okay, I'll do a minor in geology, and then, okay, I'll do a double major. And then actually what I really want to do is I'll do an honors in Earth and Ocean Science, and with a geochemistry honors project, and I'll just finish my chemistry degree and pretend it never happened. And that's kind of what happened. But that's all a setting for your original question. Was a bit of a thing. I don't know it's around too much anymore. I hope that it is, but very much in British Columbia anyways. I just caught the tail end of it's very much a rite of passage in BC for students to work with the Geological Survey. And
cool.
the British Columbia Geological Survey, and there's the Canadian survey, but then there's each province has their own survey as well. And so for my honors, I had the privilege of actually getting a position with the survey for the summer, because we do field work in summer in Canada, although there's also winter-based field work, but it's different. And so Steve Cook was one of my industry or my survey-sponsored thesis supervisor.
Yep.
And so the summer of 1999, so coming up on a quarter of a century ago, we went and worked. I went and worked for the survey and that summer, and yeah, the usual out bush, for months, and flying around in helicopters every day and just getting totally smashed
Yeah.
by these older geos because I was not as fit as I thought I was, and having the most amazing time, being totally intimidated and out of my depth the whole time, but just freaking absolutely loving all of it. And to come to the end of the long story is there's quite a big drive. It's like 26 hours to go from Vancouver up to Whitehorse in the Yukon,
Yeah.
where the closest city was to the field camps that we were doing. And so typically you've got a big truck, and so Steve and I was doing my field work and collected my samples for my honors thesis, did field work with Steve, and had the good fortune to work with some of the other survey geologists. And we're driving down, it's the end of a field season, I still have them. I have like a moose antler and a caribou antler that I'd collected, and another sort of little rite of passage,
Yeah.
to collect your own antlers because you're out bush. And we're stopped. They do a lot of construction on this highway that's in the middle of nowhere, and we're stopped. And I've got this, I still to this day have this very clear image in my head. I've got this truck full of stuff, for all our field gear, and Steve's driving. We're stopped with the lollipop person, and Steve's like, Steve Cook, he's like, so, he asked me, that dreaded question as you're just about to graduate, like, what are we going to do now that you're graduating?
Yes.
And I was like secretly like freaking out inside, and I really didn't know. And then Steve said, and this was pivotal, and he said, well, there's not a lot of geochemists in industry, and there's even fewer that have like a degree in chemistry as well as a degree in earth science.
Yeah.
So, I reckon if you wanted, I don't think he used the word reckon. That's my Australianism
That's a bit Aussie
coming.
there.
That's
exactly.
a bit Aussie, yeah.
Doesn't sound very Canadian.
He made the point that chances are, in our boom and bust industry,
Yeah.
that was an area that if I was interested, that would serve me
Might go really
and
well for
serve
you.
whether,
Yeah.
my employers or clients or colleagues. And as I said, in that moment, I was like, right,
What I'm doing.
that's what I'm
This
going to
is
do.
me. I
And
love
so
that.
25 years later, I'm sitting here with you. And yeah, what part of the reason I wanted to share that story or in such detail was because I've seen Steve here at the conference, and I haven't seen him in a dog's age, and
Aw.
just want to take my hat off to him and say thanks, Steve. Thanks for the advice. I listened, I took some action, and yeah, so far so good. So pay my respects.
It's incredible because, yeah, even after, so much time has passed and you've had such a big, amazing career since then, it's amazing that people like that can have such a lasting impact, on people. And
100%.
yeah, really got to look after the students and guide them. Yes.
And I think even in every, our everyday, this interactions in a format even like this, that conversation probably took me 3 times as long to recount it than it actually took in, excuse me, in real life. And that was a cornerstone moment for me.
Yeah.
When we were just trying to have some conversation to pass the time while we were stuck waiting for the lollipop, person to turn their sign. So I think that we can have those massive impacts on people's lives and really make a difference with a really small amount of effort and time and investment.
It's so cool. I love that. Go, Steve. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
You
You'd
are
be terribly embarrassed.
Yes. He'll be
So,
like,
but
why is this online?
I had to say it. Hats off.
Yes. Oh, that's incredible. You're also such an amazing advocate for like women in the industry, and always been someone I've really admired.
Thank you.
What's made you so passionate about that?
Yes. Ooh, another good question. So a bit of a story there as well. It was an evolution, I would say, and it was pivotal to around the time that I was applying for Homeward Bound, which was a
Your
leadership
trip
program
to
for
Antarctica, yes.
yes, yeah, Antarctica. And in that application for that year-long program, where it's just the last month was in Antarctica, but there was a big training session for women in STEM to step into, visible leadership roles.
Yeah.
Really, the whole point of that program is to have more women around the decision-making tables, whatever tables they be, whether it's the kitchen table, the boardroom table, the political tables, because they're all important.
Yeah.
And I think it was at that particular time I was getting some executive coaching, and this coach had introduced Homeward Bound to me, and going through the questions, there were clearly questions that put together by like an org psych or something, because they were very thought provoking, and of course you only had like 100, 250, 200 words. And it really made me think, like, what am I doing, right? Because I had just been going sort of head down, bum up, another Australianism, and just trying to achieve without really thinking too much, like knowing that I love geoscience, love rocks, and, doing the geochemistry thing, but not really thinking about, what was inside, what were the values for me. And what came out just in writing that application was that I actually really I had some strong opinions about how things were being done and, how society was evolving. And I felt that at that point, I had a bit of a platform to stand on. I had some visibility, and then so one of the calls to action in Homeward Bound, if we decided to take it, was to do our part as we were able and to do, and had capacity for, to be visible leaders. And it's not just for, I use women in STEM, but it's really for everybody, because if one group is doing better and flourishing, then that's going to have a massive ripple effect. And that was another pivotal moment. Marty Keys was the coach, and I think she's still coaching. And I just sort of jumped in with both feet and started doing heaps of public speaking, and very much standing, on the shoulders of people that have come before me. And then, now having the pleasure to hopefully have made a few ripples and have people able to stand on, some of the dents. I like to use the term dents in the universe that I've tried to make, and hopefully have a lot of fun while we're doing it.
No,
but it's quite personal. They say it's a bit cliche that political is personal, but I think if you doing that introspection and that reflective work, to find out what one's passion and purpose is. And for me, that intersectionality between my career and using my career to make a more inclusive environment for everybody. We talk about psychological safety a lot in DEI now, and I really think that it's a no-brainer that when we feel psychologically safe, we're more relaxed, we're having more fun, and we're also innovating. And then, everything else is a downhill or a downstream win from that. And making someone feel psychologically safe, it can be as little as just including them in the conversation, looking them in the eye if it's culturally appropriate, recognizing that we all carry biases. I think some study was done about, I'm probably going to get the number wrong, but it's something like everyone carries something between like 160 and 180 unconscious biases with us. And myself, even, I did unconscious bias training, and you do a test in the beginning, and I came out, people are sometimes surprised to hear this, I came out as very strongly biased towards men at work, women at home. And I was like, how can that be? How can that be? And I believed in the testing method that was done. And it was a real pivotal moment for me to say that it is unconscious, like to to understand the blatantly obvious, is despite all of my conscious advocacy and active learning in that space, that we all have, and I'm no exception, have these unconscious biases to be aware of, and then trying to change our neural patterns.
Yeah.
And you can only do that when you make it personal. and put
Yeah.
conscious effort into it.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, got me intrigued. I want to do that test now. That'd be interesting. Yeah. My gosh.
I was really
yes.
embarrassed in the beginning. This must be wrong.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. And I think I don't know, I tell that story, not all the time, but I do as sort of a way to, make people, particularly when I'm talking to people who don't identify as a woman, just to, create some ease and some comfort in the scenario is
Yeah.
that, we're all doing it, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. There you go. Wow. Got the cogs going in my brain now. Yeah, I'm like, I wonder what mine are. But no, that's really cool. I just wanted to ask as a nice little finisher.
So,
Been quizzing everyone and I'm really getting everybody. It's awesome.
I'm nervous now.
I know. So you have to guess which element the number is.
Oh my word. Okay.
Yeah.
Which element? The number.
What about 46?
This is like a wild guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sulfur. The sulfur's 36.
Silver, 47. It was right next to it.
Oh,
Yes.
I think I said sulfur. I think I said silver.
Oh, did you say sulfur?
I did. I think
I
I'm
don't even
worse.
know where that is. I thought you said silver. It's palladium is
Oh,
46.
bugger.
But you almost... It's been good. Hardly anyone has got them right so far.
Isn't that hilarious?
It's okay.
Yes. Probably need some like theoretical physicist actually.
I know.
As opposed to a bunch of, amazing but applied geochemists.
Yeah, exactly. I know. But no, this is always a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
My pleasure.
And enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you. And I take my hat off to you too, Jess. I think the work that you're doing with GeoHUG and, updating the vibe and, bringing some more levity and a different perspective to our geochem community. It's I love it. So,
Aw.
well done.
Thank you. No, it's been a massive honor to have been invited along. So, especially as, like an outsider. So I'm like, thanks everyone for embracing me. It's awesome. Yeah.
Super happy to have you here.
No, I love it. But thank you, Heidi. Have a great day.
Thank you.